Welcome back, Heartland family. It's your friend Asim here, and you're tuned into UK Pulse, your ultimate home for everything Heartland, where every video is a heartfelt journey into the characters, the stories, and the unforgettable moments that have become part of our lives. If you believe in the magic of second chances, the healing power of love, and the extraordinary storytelling that makes Heartland so much more than just a TV show, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that like button. Drop a comment sharing your favorite Heartland memory. Subscribe if you haven't already and ring that notification bell so you never miss a single emotional moment with us. Today's video is something truly special, and honestly, my heart is already full just thinking about it. We're diving deep into a moment that fans around the world have spent years dreaming of, crying over, and holding close in their hearts. Borden's breathtaking return in Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. After seasons of heartbreak, empty spaces, and prayers whispered into the wind, the man who captured our hearts is finally coming home. But this isn't just about seeing Ty again. It's about witnessing a powerful journey of healing, forgiveness, second chances, and the kind of once-in-a-lifetime love that never truly fades, no matter how much time passes. So grab a cozy blanket, get those tissues ready, and settle in, Heartlanders, because today we're not just revisiting a story. We are stepping into a brand new chapter, one filled with raw emotions, long-awaited reunions, and the timeless, soul-stirring magic that only Heartland knows how to deliver. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single second. Let's dive in. This episode is not just about shock. It's about reconnection, redemption, and rekindling lost hope. We'll walk through every powerful step: Amy's emotional reaction, Lindy's innocent recognition, Jack's wisdom, Lou's conflict, George's strength, Tim's tough but tender heart, and finally, that tear-jerking private conversation between Ty and Amy. So grab a warm drink, find a cozy seat, and let's step into one of Heartland's most unforgettable episodes together. Before we explore Ty's return, we have to go back to the very moment he left us. Borden wasn't just a central character, he was the emotional heartbeat of Heartland. From a troubled teen placed on the ranch as part of his probation, to becoming a devoted partner to Amy, a father to Lindy, and a compassionate healer of animals, Ty's arc was a journey of growth, love, and redemption. Borden's sudden death in Season 14 wasn't just a plot twist, it was a seismic event that sent shockwaves through the entire Heartland community, both on-screen and off. Shot while heroically protecting Amy, only to later lose his life to a hidden blood clot, Ty's death left a gaping hole that no amount of time could easily fill. It wasn't just Amy who was devastated, it was all of us. The barn felt colder. The field seemed quieter. Even Spartan's steady eyes seemed dimmer, missing the familiar hand that once calmed him. Amy, shattered but unbroken, somehow found the strength to carry on. Piece by piece, she rebuilt her life, anchoring herself in Lindy's laughter, Jack's weathered wisdom, and the steadfast rhythms of the ranch. And yet, no matter how bravely she moved forward, Ty's absence was like a ghost stitched into every sunrise, every trail ride, every soft whinny carried on the morning breeze. Heartland never let us forget him, because how could we? Every fence post, every worn bridle, every golden stretch of open prairie held echoes of Ty's spirit. And through it all, fans clung to a sliver of hope. Could the story really be over? Could the writers be hiding something? Something miraculous? As Season 18 unfolded, those faint hopes began to stir. Not through grand announcements or sudden reveals, but through quiet, aching moments, subtle, tender hints that whispered to our hearts. Amy would wake from dreams, her cheeks wet with silent tears, whispering Ty's name into the darkness. Lindy, in her childlike wonder, would speak of seeing her daddy dancing in the clouds or hearing his laughter echo through the barn. Jack, strong as oak, would sometimes falter mid-sentence when mentioning Ty, his gaze distant, as if sensing that perhaps Ty's story wasn't quite over. These weren't just passing memories. They were brushstrokes, delicate, deliberate painting the backdrop for something extraordinary. And now, in the breathtaking premiere of Season 19, that miracle takes shape. But not with fanfare, not with trumpets or grand reveals. Instead, it begins with a quiet stillness, the kind of hush that falls over the land when the world itself holds its breath. The sky above Heartland stretches vast and soft, painted in the fragile hues of early dawn. The fields stir under a tender breeze, carrying whispers of old memories and silent prayers. Inside the barn, Amy gently brushes Spartan's mane, her hands steady, but her heart heavy, lost in 1,000 memories. Outside, Lindy laughs and runs free, her tiny boots kicking up the dust, chasing butterflies beneath the endless prairie sky, pure, untouched by the grief that still clings to the adults around her. And then it happens. The camera pans to the tree line. The shadows shift. A figure steps forward, older, weathered by time, but unmistakably, unforgettably, Ty Borden. The world itself seems to pause. The light changes. The air thickens. Every fiber of the land and of Amy's heart recognizes him. When Amy lifts her head and sees him standing there, her body locks in disbelief. The brush falls from her hand with a clatter. Spartan whinnies softly, sensing the tension. Tears brim instantly in Amy's wide, disbelieving eyes. She stumbles back, her voice trembling on the edge of hope and heartbreak. No, it can't be. Ty steps closer, cautious but sure, the weight of years reflected in his gaze. He speaks one word, low and thick with emotion, Amy. And in that single word, decades of love, loss, promises, and dreams come rushing back. Amy, breathless, moves toward him, her body trembling. Ty, are you real? She whispers, her voice cracking open. Without hesitation, Ty reaches out, his hand warm, solid, alive against her tear-streaked cheek. In that fragile, life-altering moment, the years of pain, the aching silences, the empty nights, they all shatter. Amy collapses into his arms, sobbing against the chest she once believed lost forever. Ty holds her fiercely, his arms a fortress against the cruelty of time itself. The ranch, the world feels whole again. Later, as golden light spills like honey through the open barn doors, they sit together, hand in hand. Amy, still in awe, listens as Ty explains the impossible. He tells her how he survived the attack but was left broken, lost a stranger even to himself. Taken in by a kind-hearted stranger, he lived for years without memory of who he was, adrift but alive. It was only in recent months that fragments of his old life, of her, began to surface. Guided by a force he couldn't explain, Ty found his way back not just to the land, but to the love that never let him go. I knew, Ty says, his voice rough with emotion. I had to find my way home. Tears stream down Amy's face, a symphony of grief, relief, and wonder all at once. This wasn't a dream. It was a second chance, the rarest kind of miracle. And then, in a moment that will forever be etched in the hearts of every Heartland fan, little Lindy steps cautiously into the barn. Clutching a dandelion in her small hand, she stops, staring at the man kneeling beside Spartan. Her wide eyes, full of wonder and innocence, turn to Amy. "Mommy, who is that?" she asks. Amy, her heart overflowing, crouches down and whispers, "That's your daddy." Lindy's face lights up with curiosity and a strange, deep recognition. She walks over, fearless and pure, studying Ty's worn but familiar face. "You look like the man in the picture next to my bed," she says softly. "I dream about you sometimes." Tears spill down Ty's cheeks as he gathers her in his arms, the daughter he was robbed of knowing, yet who somehow always knew him. "You smell like horses," Lindy giggles innocently, and laughter real, free, healing laughter fills the barn for the first time in what feels like forever. Even Jack Bartlett, the iron pillar of Heartland, finds himself overcome. He had carried the weight of Ty's loss like a worn, familiar saddle, strong but heavy. Now seeing Ty alive, standing before him, Jack feels that old burden lift. He doesn't rush in with words. Instead, Jack watches quietly, tears glistening in his wise old eyes, offering silent gratitude to the universe for answering a prayer he had been too afraid to speak aloud. Later, he finally approaches Ty in the barn's soft twilight, where so many memories linger. In a voice roughened by emotion and years of hard living, Jack simply says, "Welcome home, son." And in that simple phrase, everything that was broken begins to heal. Life doesn't give us many second chances, son. But when it does, you hold on to them with everything you've got. It's not just advice, it's Jack opening his heart, showing Ty that forgiveness, love, and family will always be here. His eyes, heavy with experience, carry the depth of someone who has lost and loved deeply. Jack's emotional depth grounds the chaos of Ty's return, reminding everyone what Heartland has always stood for: loyalty, faith, and unconditional love. Georgie's journey has always been one of resilience, and her response to Ty's return reflects just how far she's come. As someone who looked up to Ty not just as a mentor but as a father figure, his loss hit her harder than she ever admitted. It was Ty who believed in her when she didn't believe in herself. His return, therefore, unearths both buried grief and unexpected healing. At first, Georgie is stunned, silent, and wide-eyed, almost frozen in disbelief. She stares at him for a long moment, searching his face for familiarity, for answers. "Is it really you?" she whispers. But then the shock gives way to emotion, and she embraces him with the raw intensity of someone who never got to say goodbye. Later, she reflects on how Ty's return brings clarity to her own path. She's matured into a strong, independent woman, one who now sees the importance of embracing the unexpected. Georgie chooses to welcome Ty back with open arms, not only for Amy and Lindy's sake, but because she understands that life doesn't often give second chances. Her growth is evident in how she supports Amy without overshadowing her, quietly reminding her that it's okay to feel everything at once: anger, joy, love, and confusion. Georgie knows healing is a process, and she's ready to walk that path with her family. Lou Fleming's reaction to Ty's return is a powerful mix of emotion, conflicted, overwhelmed, yet tinged with hope. Lou has always been the pragmatic one, the planner, the fixer. She learned to keep her emotions in check, especially for Amy and Lindy's sake. But when she sees Ty standing at the ranch again, alive and changed, the structure she built to manage grief begins to crumble. 100 questions race through her mind. How is this possible? Where has he been? Why now? But despite her logical instincts, Lou can't help but feel a surge of joy rush through her chest. Her eyes well with tears as she approaches Ty cautiously, almost as if afraid he might vanish again. She tries to keep her composure for Amy's sake, but her voice cracks when she says, "We thought we lost you forever." Her emotions are raw, layered with the pain of watching her sister suffer and the strain of holding the family together. Lou knows this return will stir up unresolved feelings and old wounds, but there's also relief, a glimmer of hope. A hope that healing can begin in a new way. In private, she admits to Peter that she's scared for Amy, for Lindy, for how this will shift everything they've adjusted to. Yet beneath that fear is hope that this return might mean peace for Amy and a renewed sense of family for them all. Tim Fleming has always been a man of fierce contradictions, a rugged cowboy with a stormy exterior and a heart more tender than he would ever dare admit. Gruff, impulsive, stubborn to a fault, Tim often charges headfirst into life, wearing his anger like armor and hiding his deepest fears behind sharp words and even sharper actions. But beneath all that bluster is a truth that's never wavered. His loyalty to his family runs deep, wild, and unshakable. When Ty Borden, the son he never had but always loved, suddenly returns in season 19, it hits Tim like a freight train. All the years of mourning, of guilt, of helplessness he buried beneath layers of pride and fury come crashing to the surface with devastating force. And true to form, Tim reacts the only way he knows how, with anger. The second he lays eyes on Ty, it's like a dam bursts inside him. The pain comes out not as relief, not as joy, but as a furious, trembling roar. "Where the hell have you been?" Tim barks, his voice cracking under the weight of emotion. "How could you let Amy suffer? How could you leave all of us to pick up the pieces?" The words lash out like a whip, sharp and bitter. But they are only smoke covering the fire burning beneath. Because Tim's voice isn't just angry, it's ragged, raw, trembling on the edge of heartbreak. His eyes, usually so defiant, glisten with tears he refuses to let fall. And he can't quite meet Ty's gaze, because if he does, he knows he will fall apart completely. "You have any idea what you put this family through?" Tim growls again, but this time his voice fractures, betraying the grief that has lived in him, heavy and unspoken, for so many years. The truth is brutal. Tim isn't angry because he hates Ty. He's angry because he loved him, because losing Ty was like losing a piece of his own soul. And now, standing in front of the boy he raised, the man he watched become part of his family, Tim's heart is breaking and somehow beginning to heal all at once. Unable to contain the storm inside him, Tim does what he's always done. He runs. He rides out alone into the vast, open fields, the same fields where he once taught Ty to rope, to ride, to fight, and to dream. Out there, under the endless stretch of Alberta sky, far from prying eyes, Tim finally falls to his knees in the tall grass. He presses his fists into the dirt and lets years of rage, sorrow, guilt, and love pour out in broken, gut-wrenching sobs. The land holds him silent, patient as he grieves not just what was lost, but what might still be reclaimed. Later, after the fire has burned itself into quiet embers, Tim finds the courage to approach Ty again, not as the tough, blustering cowboy, but as a man stripped bare by love and pain. His voice, when he speaks, is rough, almost unrecognizable. "You were gone, and I couldn't protect Amy or Lindy. I tried, Ty, but I failed them." For a long moment, Ty says nothing. Then he steps forward, steady, solid, a deep kindness shining in his eyes. "You didn't fail," Ty says, voice low and certain. "You saved them, Tim. You kept the hope alive when none of us could see it anymore." And just like that, something shifts, something ancient and wounded inside Tim's heart. The armor he's carried for so long finally cracks open, letting in the light of forgiveness, of understanding, of love. They don't hug. They don't need to. The silence between them says more than any words ever could. It says, "You were never alone. You were never forgotten." But perhaps the most heart-shattering moment unfolds later, in the quiet hours when the world has settled, and it's just Ty and Amy, two battered souls, trying to find their way back to each other. They return to the old cabin by the lake, a sacred place, stitched with the memories of stolen kisses, whispered dreams, and promises once made under the stars. Now the cabin feels heavier, weighted by the ghosts of all they lost and all they still might reclaim. Inside, Amy sits on the edge of the bed, staring at Ty as though she's afraid he might vanish if she blinks. Her voice, when it comes, is a whisper, but it carries the weight of years. I thought I'd never see you again. Ty crosses the room slowly, his movements careful, reverent, like he's approaching something too fragile to touch. He reaches for her hand, and when their fingers brush, it's like the world steadies on its axis. I thought I was protecting you, he says, voice heavy with regret. I thought disappearing was the only way to keep you safe. Amy shakes her head, tears sliding freely down her cheeks. You should have trusted me, she chokes out. We were always stronger together. Ty nods, his heart breaking all over again. I know, he whispers. Not a day went by that I didn't love you, Amy. Not one. The cabin falls into silence again, thick, aching, sacred. But little by little, they talk. Amy tells Ty about Lindy, her stubbornness, her laughter, the moments of fear and the moments of wonder. And Ty listens, each word carving itself into his soul. When Amy finally says, voice trembling but fierce, she deserves to know you. We deserve it. It is not just a plea. It is an invitation, an opening of a door that once seemed forever closed. Ty's tears fall freely then, unchecked and pure. I'll spend the rest of my life making it right, he promises. If you'll let me. And in the soft golden light of the cabin, surrounded by the scars of their past and the hope of a fragile future, they begin slowly, painfully, beautifully, to find their way back to each other. Not as the people they once were, but as the people who survived, and who still, after everything, love each other fiercely, unbreakably, without end. And there we have it. Heartland family, what an unforgettable journey it's been. Ty Borden's return in Heartland Season 19, Episode 1, was nothing short of breathtaking. It wasn't just a twist in the story, it was a raw, emotional testament to the very heart of what Heartland represents. This wasn't just a return from the dead, it was a story about healing, about redemption, about the power of love and forgiveness that can transform even the most broken hearts. Amy's tears, Lindy's pure innocence, Jack's unwavering strength, Lou's capacity for forgiveness, George's courage, Tim's hidden tenderness every single moment, wove together into something truly special. It's the kind of episode that will stay with us forever, a moment etched in our hearts and memories. But now it's your turn. I want to know how you felt about Ty's miraculous return. Did it live up to everything you hoped for? What do you think? Can Ty and Amy rebuild the beautiful life they lost? How do you see their future unfolding after everything they've been through? Your thoughts mean the world to me, so please drop them in the comments below. I read every single one, and your words never fail to inspire and move me. If you loved this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you're always the first to catch the next wave of Heartland magic right here on UK Pulse. Your support, your passion, and your love for this incredible show are what make this community so unique, and I am beyond grateful to share this journey with each and every one of you. Until next time, Heartlanders, stay kind, stay strong, and always keep believing in the unbreakable magic of family, love, and the Heartland spirit.